Right now, the holidays should be a joyous time with family, but it may unfortunately be one of the loneliest periods for older adults, especially this year. The compassionate caregivers at Assisted Living Services specialize in the care and safety of seniors, and Chief Operating Officer Mario D'Aquila is here with tips to create a happy holiday season for those who are homeward bound. First, Mario, tell us a little bit about Assisted Living Services.
Sure. Well, our agency was founded in 1996, and we provide non-medical homemaker and companion supports for seniors all throughout Connecticut.
How prevalent is depression for the elderly this time of year, especially this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, even before the pandemic, late life depression affects more than 6 million Americans aged 65 and older, and really only 10% seek treatment. And unfortunately, during the pandemic, more and more seniors are lonely and isolated. But there are some things during the holidays that, we could recommend that would absolutely help out with that.
Yeah, so let's get to it. What are some of those recommendations?
Well, first and foremost, I highly recommend getting into technology. Prior to the pandemic, with seniors utilizing technology, it was more of a challenge because it was, what would I need this for? But now with tablets and smartphones, you can do virtual family gatherings using Zoom, Facebook Messenger, Skype, have a virtual holiday with your loved ones. You can kind of have a virtual dinner and absolutely share in those comforting experiences that you would have had prior to this pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen that firsthand with my grandmother, almost 90 years old. We finally have her FaceTiming. It's
Nice.
great. What are some of the warning signs people should look out for, though, with their family members this time of year?
Yeah, definitely. Well, memory difficulties or personality changes, physical aches and pains, fatigues, loss of appetite, sleep problems, aches that are not normally caused by their normal medical condition, lack of interest in their favorite hobbies or activities, and other things like that.
D'Aquila, thank you so much for your time this morning and your expertise. We'll make sure to get these tips up on our website, fox61.com as well.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays.